Gunshots, sudden panic. And within seconds, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, was rushed off stage at one of the most high-profile events in Washington, D.C. What was meant to be an evening of celebration quickly turned into a moment of fear, confusion, and uncertainty. For those inside the room, it was a night they would never forget. So, what exactly happened that night at the White House Correspondents Dinner? Let's take a deeper look at the full story. On Saturday evening, the annual White House Correspondents Dinner was taking place at the Washington Hilton Hotel. This is not just any event. It is one of the most prestigious and closely watched gatherings in the United States. Every year, it brings together leading journalists, political figures, celebrities, and influential voices from across the country. The purpose of the event is to celebrate press freedom, highlight the role of journalism, and, at times, even create moments of humor between politicians and the media. That night, the ballroom was filled with energy. Guests were seated at round tables, conversations were flowing, and the atmosphere was formal yet relaxed. Among the attendees was President Donald Trump. He was accompanied by First Lady Melania Trump and several members of his cabinet. Security at such events is always extremely tight. Multiple layers of protection are typically in place. From perimeter checks to internal surveillance, everything is carefully monitored. And yet, despite all of that, something unexpected happened. At first, it was just a sound, a sharp noise that some people initially mistook for something else. But within seconds, more shots followed. Gunfire, real gunfire. And suddenly, the entire atmosphere changed. Panic spread instantly. People froze for a moment, trying to process what was happening. Then, instinct took over. Guests dropped to the ground. Some took cover under tables. Others shouted warnings. "Get down! Stay down!" The calm, composed environment had turned into chaos in a matter of seconds. In situations like this, timing is everything, and the response from security forces becomes critical. Secret Service agents reacted immediately. Their training prepared them for moments exactly like this. Within seconds, they moved toward the president. Donald Trump was quickly surrounded by his security detail. He was escorted off the stage and moved to a secure location. The movement was fast, controlled, and highly coordinated. At the same time, other high-profile individuals in the room were also secured. Cabinet members, officials, and guests were directed to stay low and remain protected. Despite the confusion, the security teams maintained control. And most importantly, they prevented further escalation. Thankfully, the President, the First Lady, and all senior officials were unharmed. But the situation was far from over. Outside the ballroom, a confrontation had already taken place. According to early reports, an armed suspect had approached a security checkpoint. The individual was reportedly carrying multiple weapons. His intentions were clearly dangerous. He attempted to force his way into the secured area. This was not just a sluichy of someone wandering into the wrong place. This was an active threat. Security personnel engaged the suspect immediately. Before he could enter the main event space, he was taken down by the Secret Service. The quick response ensured that the attacker never made it inside the ballroom. However, during this confrontation, one Secret Service officer was shot. It was a critical moment. But fortunately, the officer was wearing a bulletproof vest. The vest absorbed the impact and saved his life. He was later reported to be in stable condition and recovering. This detail alone shows how close the situation came to becoming far worse. Shortly after the incident, President Donald Trump addressed the nation. In a press conference, he provided initial details and shared his perspective on what had happened. He described the attacker as a very sick person and a thug. He also stated that this was not just an attack on individuals, but on the system and values of the country. He reminded the public that this was not the first time such threats had emerged in recent years, and he urged Americans to remain calm and resolve differences peacefully. When asked whether he believed he was the intended target, his response was brief: "I guess." That single response carried a lot of weight, because it left open the possibility that the attack may have been directed at the president himself. Meanwhile, law enforcement agencies moved quickly to begin a full investigation. The suspect was taken into custody. Officials confirmed that he would face serious federal charges. These include assault on federal officers and the use of a firearm during a violent crime. The FBI also became involved in the case. They began examining the suspect's background. His history, his motives, and any possible connections were all being investigated. Authorities also made a public appeal. They asked anyone with information to come forward, because in cases like this, even the smallest detail can help build a clearer picture. Eyewitnesses continued to share their experiences. Their accounts painted a vivid picture of the chaos inside the ballroom. Several people reported hearing around 4 to 5 gunshots. Some described the sound as extremely close. Others said they could even smell gunpowder in the air. Many believed the shots were fired just outside the ballroom entrance. These details suggest that the attacker had managed to get dangerously close to the event. And that raises serious questions. How did he get that close? Was there a gap in the security perimeter? While the ballroom itself had extremely strict security measures, some reports suggest that access to other parts of the hotel may have been less restricted. It is possible that the suspect used this to his advantage. Investigators will be focusing closely on this aspect, because understanding how the breach happened is key to preventing future incidents. Events like the White House Correspondents Dinner are considered high risk. They involve high-profile individuals and attract a lot of attention. That is why multiple layers of security are always in place. But as this incident shows, no system is completely foolproof. There is always a level of unpredictability. And that is what makes security planning so challenging. What makes this situation even more intense is how quickly everything unfolded. One moment, it was a calm and elegant evening. The next, it became a scene of panic and fear. That sudden shift is something many people in the room will never forget. However, it is also important to recognize what went right. The rapid response from the Secret Service, the coordination between different security teams, and the ability to act under pressure. All of these factors played a crucial role in preventing a larger tragedy. If the suspect had managed to get inside the ballroom, the outcome could have been very different. In the aftermath of the incident, attention now turns to the bigger picture. What were the motives behind the attack? Was the president the intended target? Or was the attacker aiming to create chaos and fear? These are questions that will take time to answer. Investigations like this require careful analysis. Every detail matters. Every piece of evidence counts. And until the full picture is clear, many questions will remain unanswered. But one thing is certain. This incident serves as a powerful reminder. A reminder that even the most secure environments can face unexpected threats. A reminder of the risks that come with public life, and a reminder of the importance of preparedness. Because when something like this happens, there is no time to hesitate. Decisions must be made instantly, actions must be taken without delay. And in this case, those actions made all the difference. What could have turned into a major national tragedy was ultimately prevented. Not by chance, but by training, coordination, and rapid response. In the end, this night will be remembered not just for the fear it caused, but for how close it came to something far worse, and how, in those critical moments, everything depended on the response.